Boom, there it is, ladies and gents. We're ready to rock and roll on another episode of the Business Bros. And look, if you love somebody in your family, if you want to take care of them, no matter what happens in your life, then this episode's for you. So let's get this one on the road. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life: prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone, because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros. All right, ladies and gents, look, life insurance is known as a love product. Most people who buy life insurance are buying it to financially protect their families in case they die, well, ahead of schedule, right? To become another reason why people buy life insurance is as a wealth creation strategy, to become their own bank. Now, regardless of why you buy insurance, you need to work with an agency that's going to help explain all the available options and the best fit for your particular situation. So today's guest is here, and he's helping families prepare for their financial future by providing them different coverage options, as well as educating his clients on the importance of life insurance. So let's welcome to the show, Mr. Andrew Davis. And now we get the party started. Andrew, welcome to the program, man.
Man, thanks, brother, for having me, man. Thank you so much. It's an honor.
All right, let's do this thing. Love product, insurance. I gotta give you a heads up. You're over there in Chicago. I'm over here in California. I do have my life license registered with the Department of Insurance, so I know a little bit about this whole life insurance product. And my curious question is always the first one. Why did you get into life insurance, man? I heard Tom Brady say that if he didn't end up playing pro football, he was gonna go into insurance. Wow. So was that like your avenue too, man? You just didn't make it in the pros in the pro football league, or
I actually played in the D League. I played for Idaho Stampede.
Okay.
In 2012 to 2014.
Yeah.
And but yeah, the reason I got into my auntie daughter passed away. She was 7 years old. And my aunt had no life insurance. And I'm just like, dang, it took us 2.5 weeks to come up with the money to bury her. So my mother had told me about the movie Pursuit of Happiness. And I'm like, I'll check it out. So I watched the movie. I was like, damn, this movie dope. And so I'm like, I think I could do that. But it was, investment banking and whatnot and working in Wall Street. And so one of my buddies had told me about about Wolf of Wall Street. And I checked it out. I was like, okay. So one of my other buddies had told me about Primerica. He's like, hey man, why don't you I apologize if I use a lot of slang talk. I'm from Chicago. I want to make this fun too. But one of my guys, he's like, hey man, won't you come to this meeting with me? He said, I don't want to sell life insurance, but I think you'll be good at it. So I went and I was like, wow. So at that time I was working at Morton Salt, the salt company. I went to work every day and they just had me sit in this cubicle. And I'm like, man. So I called my wife, Kiana. I was like, man, I think I want to quit this job. She's like, well, if you can hold out till I get my taxes, I'll give you the money to take tests. Lo and behold, I hang up with her. I got fired the same day.
Oh.
So I told her.
Damn. On a Friday.
Yeah, they fired me, man. I was hurt. This was like right there. Actually, at this time, we were still celebrating Christmas. Now we don't celebrate Christmas now. And I'm like, what I'm going to do? So I took the test March the 7th of 2014. Now we the biggest agency in Chicago. Now we finna take over the world now.
Cool. That's one heck of a story. Getting fired right around Christmas. Now, you said you don't celebrate Christmas anymore. You don't celebrate it because of what happened? Like that left a big scar and like Christmas is over forever after that? Or just busy, you do other stuff now?
No, it's just because it's not biblical. So when I really got into the truth, started reading my Bible, I'm like, why does it mention Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, 4th of July, Veterans Day? And then I start reading the Bible and studying. I was like, I'm not going to celebrate these pagan holidays. So me and my family, we just choose not to.
Perfect, man. You know the rules. I mean, you mentioned the movie. I'll just drop the quote.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
Don't ever let them tell you can't do something. You do what you're going to do every single time.
You better say it.
All right, man, let's jump into this thing. All right, life insurance. There's so many different avenues that you can take with this. I mean, everything from getting a term policy, just making sure you're taken care of. I remember the first time I bought a property, I was 20 years old. And one of the things that I got advised was you should get some life insurance. What if, it was my brother and I who bought it. It's like, what if you die? Like, he's going to be stuck with the mortgage. What if he dies? You going to be stuck with the mortgage? So we that was like our first taste of this whole life insurance thing. And there's so many different complexities when it comes to products, everything from term to whole life to is it a like an indexed universal life? Is it a fixed annuity? Like all kinds of different stuff that you can get into, riders, all kinds of stuff. When you sit down with a client and you are getting ready to help them, what's that process like? Because everybody kind of needs something different, right?
Yeah. So with me and my wife, when we pretty much give out quotes, I say 99% of the clients already know what they want. But the biggest thing that we have to do is, what me and my wife do is we see what their budget is, because like they say, you can't have a champagne taste with a water budget. Before I run a quote, you have to let me know what your budget is. Prime example, we just talked to a client yesterday, and we actually met with her 2 years ago, and you know how it is, and people things happen, they just don't pay us. So she called us back, and she's like, I want to go with the 30,000 plan. I'm like, 30,000? I'm like, so you looking for whole life term? So I want to get the, I can take the money out, which is the cash value. So I told her, I said, well, what is your monthly budget? She said, well, I could pay about, 200 a month. I was like, whoa, that's actually pretty good with our clients. So it wound up being like, what, 104 a month? So she said, well, you saved me $76. She sent us 12 referrals over today.
That's what I'm talking about. Quality work, right? So the different policies, they vary, right? So I always have this confusion with clients, they do have an idea of what they're looking for in general, right? I want coverage in case I pass away. I want the house to be paid off. I want to be able to pull from it and borrow against it. Or I'm getting more sophisticated. I want this to be part of my trust, and I want to start becoming a bank, right? What are the different things that people look for when it comes to insurance, aside from just the death benefit? Kind of give some of the stuff that's popular, that's trending right now, that people are kind of leaning towards, especially as we have like a big shift in our economy coming up. People are going to be starting to pull back on some things. Insurance tends to be one of those. Life insurance tends to be one of those that they pull back on. So what are some of the benefits that people can capitalize on when it comes to some of these life insurance products to maybe survive some of these up and down markets that we're going to be hitting into in the near future?
Well, if you look at statistically in this world, it's always been up and down. I mean, that's how I look at it. Like, being a brother Hebrew, I've always said it's been up and down for us. But like me personally, I don't promote death benefit, because we all know we have an expiration date. So I always, my slogan is, when are you gonna start walking around naked? Meaning by using life insurance, that'll be your suit, or that'll be your dress or your tuxedo. But what I promote is, I promote the living benefits, the critical illness, the chronic illness, the long-term care. Like my mom back in 2017, she was at Dollar Tree and she fell in the parking lot and fractured her collarbone, her neck, her wrist, broke her, like dislocated her kneecap. Ouch. She just messed herself up. So after she left the hospital 3 days later, my nickname is Maine. She's like, Maine, don't I got those living benefits? I'm like, oh, snap, you do. So we called the company up, and she had, I believe, it was $225,000 worth of
Uh-oh. Hopefully we didn't lose him. Sometimes that happens. Hopefully it's not my internet either. Well, we'll see when he comes back. Andrew, when you come back, let's see what happens. Hopefully, there we go. Here we go. We lost you for a second there.
Oh, I'm like, what the world? Oh, yes.
Hey, welcome to the internet, man. That stuff happens every once in a while. We back though. We back.
We got to talk about the old days when we just used to go meet with people and meet face to face.
I remember the phones that had cords. We used to do
You
those
know?
too, remember?
You have to
Yeah.
phones.
All
But
right,
yeah,
so last I heard, mom's went down in the parking lot. She got really injured, a couple broken bones, and she had about 225,000 in her policy.
yeah. So most life insurance policy let you access up to 75% of your death benefit. So since my mother's condition was critical and chronic, it wasn't terminal. She was able to get a check for $175,000 that the life insurance companies sent over to her. I was like, whoa. So I think in the last 8 years, probably we had about 2 or 3 clients that actually was able to access their living benefits. So that's what I promote. I promote living benefits. My wife, which is right here, she promotes like life insurance. Like, hey, don't be stupid now. You know you gotta die. Me on the hand, I'm softy. I don't tell people right from wrong. Just like if you know when you get out to bed in the morning, you got to go brush your teeth and wash your face and wash your behind. I should have to tell you to do that. So I should have to tell you, hey, like you say, this is not life insurance. This is love insurance. If you love somebody, you might want to get this life insurance. If you don't want it, hey, it's 6-7 billion people in the world. Maybe 5 billion ain't gonna hurt my feelings, but 1 billion might hurt my feelings. So if they say no, I got more people to go holler at.
No, it's totally true. And I like how you guys kind of split that up because some people do need to hear it, right? Some people do need to be reminded, hey, you're going to die. Like nobody gets out of this thing alive. Like the only way this game ends is with you like in a casket. Like that's it. That's how we end this game. But the other side of that is I love how you talk about the regular day-to-day stuff, the long-term care. Because even though we all know at some point we're going to die, we don't think about getting old. Right? We don't think about that long-term care. We don't think about who's going to wash my butt when I can't reach it anymore, when I can't walk, when I can't get in the shower, who's going to take care of me, help me clean my house. Like there's a lot of things that we don't think about as we get older because when we're young, we're invincible, right? I mean, those are the things that we really need to put in. And a lot of these aren't standard in these policies. A lot of them come with additional riders, correct?
Yeah, yep, they come. And most carriers got them for free now. We just attach it onto the policy for free. Like we went to one of my good friends I went to high school with. His son plays for the Man Ants Pacers.
Oh, the Fort Wayne
Man Ants. It's a G League team for the Indiana Pacers, and so they played the Windy City Bulls, who's affiliated with the Chicago Bulls. So we went to the game, and we since the Bulls won, we got all these coupons for a free Big Mac. So me being me, I was asking for more, and we don't even eat McDonald's. So the last McDonald's, I was like, I'm 42 years old. I can't do the stupid stuff I used to do. Now my stomach,
because it's free.
Yeah, because my wife said because it's free. Now I'm all bloated. Now
it's hard to turn down a free Big Mac, man. I got the same thing in Jack in the Box when I went to a Padre game recently. Dude, they gave us a bunch of free coupons for Jack. Dude, they're sitting in my driver's seat because every once in a while, when it's just that time and my stomach's talking to me, I gotta go. I just pick up a quick Jumbo Jack. It's free, man.
Man, I had 2 Big Macs, and my stomach, I'm like, so I had to take all this fiber and detox. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I know better.
Oh no! Internet again. You know, it's funny because we the title of the show is "What If You Died?" Right? What if you died? We didn't really consider what would happen if the internet dies. If the internet dies, is a whole different ball game. It interrupts our interview process if that happens. But hopefully they come back just like they did last time. So life insurance, ladies and gents, I mean, that's something that you got, in my opinion, especially if you have loved ones in your life. There we go. We back?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this internet. Yeah, we back now. Yeah, we back.
I was just kind of filling in while your internet kind of stuck back. And all I was saying was insurance is one of those things that we all need. We just got to have it, right? And like you were saying, we have these habits, right? You're 42, I'm 40. I have these habits right now. I know, look, I work out a lot, right? I do work out a lot.
I've been watching you, man. You stay running.
Yeah, but that also gives me kind of that green light because, I'll go and I'll grab a Jumbo Jack and not feel guilty about it, right? And then I kind of overdo it sometimes, dude. I got some candy in my drawer that came in over Halloween, and it just kind of sat there until I put it all down, right? But I look at my parents at the same time. I look at my in-laws. and I see the physical condition that they're in, and I know that I just don't want to go down that route. I want it to be a little bit different. But regardless, I'm still gonna die at some point, right? Like, this is one of those things that, yeah, I don't think we all realize. We all try to be as healthy as possible. We all try to fix the mistakes, but we're all gonna die. And at the end of the day, we all gonna die.
And that's the scariest thing about it. Like, the Bible says that no man knows the time nor the hour when the Most High Yah is going to come back. But also, we don't know the time nor when our expiration date. My best friend, dad, passed away yesterday when I was on the phone with the client. They seen him on Thursday. They called him Friday, called him Saturday. He didn't answer. He texted me, we just found my dad passed away. I'm like, whoa, what the world? So I get over there. I'm thinking, because I never met nobody that passed and they was still in the house. So I get over there. He was still in the house with the sheet over him. And I'm just like,
surreal.
Whoa, and I got to think about my cousin, my brother, who is going to be 20 years next month when he was murdered. My brother, his wife, and their baby got killed or murdered in a town called Effingham, Illinois. Back in 2003, my brother, Corey Davis, was projected to be a lottery pick in the NBA that year. And then this coming up next month, my wife, Kiana, is going to be 5 years. Her dad passed away. So I'm like, oh, my word. So I sat there with them for like 6 hours, and they still never came and got the body. But on the flip side, we called the insurance company, and they like, oh, yeah, we got the money. I need you to fill this out. You get the death claim of this. I'm like, wow. So that helped out a lot. But he's like, Andrew, I still want my dad, though. And I'm like,
yeah.
Man, so we don't know the time. That's my whole point. We don't know the time of the hour. And like I was telling Charles, I'm like, dog, at least you cool now. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta do a GoFundMe. You ain't gotta be arguing with your siblings like, hey man, how much money y'all gonna run to pay this? We need this. We gotta get a funeral home by this date. Or the funeral home holding the death certificate for hostage because they don't want to give up because the family can't come up with half of the burial money. Or the cemetery won't let you bury a person because you ain't got the money to pay the cemetery. Like, people don't see all that. Especially in our community, the Black community, that's all you hear about. And like my wife said, it's sad that people know what we do. But we got the publicists. We've been on all types of television stations. We spend all this money on marketing. Me and you was talking about that the other day. And I'm like, it's sad that we not saved, because I tell people I save souls. I'm not a life insurance agent. I'm not no insurance producer. I save souls. So there's no way I should be saving thousands of souls per day.
No.
I can share some on social media and I won't even get a like.
No. And you know what? I love how you said that too. It's one of those moments in life. I always find it strange. I'm like, look, you're here, and then all of a sudden you become a picture. Right? Like you see all these photographs on Instagram and all the stuff that we put up, pictures that you take at home, your photo albums, and you don't realize that those are captured moments. And at some point, those are going to be the only moments that you have left. Right. And that's kind of harsh. And as a human being, you're never going to get that person back. Right. And that's not the whole thing behind life insurance, is you're never going to get that person back. But that person loved you enough.
Yes, sir.
To make sure financially you were taken care of, that the hole in the ground was taken care of, that the stone is going to be okay, that you can have a party, or if you want to do a memorial, whatever. I like party instead for myself personally.
Exactly.
Right? Have a good time and remember the life that I brought here, and not have to worry. Don't take on my burdens. Right? No, you get this benefit at the end.
No. When my aunt daughter passed away, my aunt had to go back to work the next week. When my brother Stephanie was murdered, my mom and dad was able to take off 11 straight weeks. Like, and I was 22 and Corey was he was 19. And that's sad how the Most High works. Well, I sell insurance now. I was like, wait a minute. When my brother got killed, my mom and dad didn't have to go back to work. But the new generation, which is me and yours or Kiana's generation, it's sad that they don't even see the
You get 3 days.
You get 3 days.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. I'm like, look at the Walden, the guy who started Walmart. Yeah, he was a billionaire, but he still left all these life insurance policies to his children's children. As the Bible says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, not just the money in the bank. I want to leave Kiana and the girls everything. I personally have over 35 million on me right now. People are like, what the world? Oh yeah, I do, because I want them to have the world. Yeah, even though they ain't gonna be able to see my goofy behind, but they're gonna still have the memories. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have the memories and be like, dang, my daddy loved us enough that he left us 35 of them things.
They can grieve in peace.
Oh, y'all, like Keon just said, they can grieve in peace, because I don't want a funeral. Cremate me, have the band from New Orleans come down and do that. Dun, 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 dun. I don't need all that, because in the Bible they didn't do all that.
No.
At least I haven't read it.
No, but you know what? I love what you're saying here too, because this is generational wealth. Like I'm Mexican, dude. I'm come from the same situation. Somebody dies and there's a car wash, right? We got to do something to raise the funds. Everybody chips in here and there. The memorial's a potluck, right? And then hopefully you get enough people that show up that can cook, that can bring something, right? Hopefully it's something like that. But you're talking about generational wealth. Most families that have some sort of wealth lose it in 3 generations because nobody's teaching them how to keep it. And part of that process of keeping it, part of it, building it, is maintaining it and being able to pass it on to future generations. What are some of the tax implications for death benefits? I know it, but I want you to explain it. What happens when you pass away? When you die and you leave your family $35 million, how much of that does Uncle Sam get?
0. He don't get none. It's tax free.
Yep,
it's tax free. So at the game this past Saturday, I was talking to one of the guys, and his son was like, "Where you get that sweat?" I had a Christian Dior sweater on. I was like, "Yeah, I sell life insurance. I have my jewelry on. Usually I wear suits and whatnot. I'm dressed down." So I was like, "Yeah, I sell insurance." He's like, "Why you make that much money?" I'm like, "Dude, absolutely, I make a lot of money. Plus, I have a lot of money in my cash value." So I was telling him about the infinite banking, and he's like, "Man, here it is. I never even thought about getting life insurance." I'm like, "What the world?" I'm like, he's like, "How much you pay a month?" I said, "I pay like $15,800." He's like, "Almost 16 grand." I'm like, "Yeah, but I understand the benefit of it. I understand that I can go to my policy." So I brought up on my phone all 46 of my policies, and I showed him the cash value. I got I think it was like 7.8 million right now saved up in my cash value. He's like, "How long did it take?" I'm like, I've been selling insurance for 8 years, but also want your audience to know that it's all about how much you spend it. Now, if you're spending $40 a month on it's going to take time to get $300. But if you're spending big bukus of money, like the story of O.J. Simpson, right before he went to jail, and Mike Tyson, before they went to jail, they put all of their money into a universal life policy and a whole life policy. So when they came home from jail, the government couldn't even touch their money. So now they're living off their cash value right now.
And let's talk about that, because some people don't quite understand how that works. And why would you even put it in cash value? Okay, so first we said death benefit is tax-free. When you want cash, right? Most people, when they want cash, they go and get their job. They go and do some overtime. Now, the problem with that is you don't get the money first. Uncle Sam takes his share. You got to pay the state whatever their share is. You got Social Security and Medicare, right? You got all these taxes. Everybody takes their piece before you get yours. You got cash value in your account. There's 2 amazing benefits to that. 1, when you take the money out, how does that work? And 2, is it growing even though you took money out? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so when you take your money out, also on a traditional whole life policy, you get between 4.5 to 8% interest on your money every year. When you do, they call it a loan, which I tell my clients don't get it. Because most clients are like, "I don't want to take how long." I'm like, but that's your money. I call it the piggy bank. Yep. So when you take your money out the piggy bank, you do have to pay the money back. But as long as you're making your monthly payments, I think they charge you maybe 2% interest. If you want to pay it back sooner, you can. But if you don't pay the money back, I tell clients, this will get another life insurance policy. But why would you let yours lapse if you already had it for 5 to 6 years? Just keep making whatever you've been paying, and just keep paying that back so it can get back to that same place that it's been at where you can take it out again.
Yeah, and some of these, so first of all, when you take that money out, that's a loan. You just said you borrowed the money at 2%. Last time I checked, Uncle Sam doesn't tax loans, right? Don't. Only income. So when you're generating commissions, you're going to pay taxes on that. When you get your W-2 income, you're going to pay taxes on that. But when you get the death benefit or when you borrow against your policy, no taxes on that. This is a secret for the wealth. And by the way, let's say you don't pay that back. Let's say you just let the account start paying itself back over time, and you die. What happens then?
They just subtracted from the death benefit, which is dope.
You gotta pay it back.
Yeah, you fine. You cool.
I mean, seriously, this is what I'm talking about. This is the game that is played. It's like Monopoly. When I explain it to my kids all the time, the first time you play Monopoly, you suck, right? The second time you got a chance of winning. What's the difference between the first time and the second time? You learn the rules to the game. If you know the rules, you have a better chance of winning. Doesn't guarantee a win, but it gives you substantially better odds at winning. And that's what you guys are doing. You are educating the public. You are telling them the rules to the game so they can play by these rules that everybody else, that 1%, 5% people that are playing the game, that's the rules they're playing in. Right. You can play the same game. You just don't know the rules. You're playing blindfolded. You guys are taking the blinders off.
The banks, all of them are playing, like you said, they're playing that same game. It's simple. It's basic compound interest. That's all it is. That's all it is. Like, I was telling one of my family members the other day, because they're looking to get self-employed or become a business owner, or now the new word is entrepreneur. And I'm like, dude, the good thing about being a business owner, we don't get taxed after we spend money.
Yep.
Me and Keon, we write off everything. All right. The only thing we can't write off like a haircut, cleaners, and simple stuff. Or but I mean, the insurance industry has taken us to, man, we own so many companies now. We own 2 nail salons now. We have a trucking school. Kiana has a restaurant. We have multiple daycare centers just selling life insurance. And when me and Kiana, we sit back, like today we was talking to the client I told you with her son. She was just like, man, she was just prophesying over us. And I'm like, whoa, just 8 years ago, I had a link card. I don't know what they call it in California, maybe a food stamp card. Kiana was the breadwinner. I had to borrow money from my mother. I remember I wanted a haircut so bad. I was so embarrassed to ask Kiana for a haircut. I just cut my hair bald. Just went to a straight crew cut. And people, yeah. Yeah.
Not necessarily by choice on my side, but I feel you. I know where you're coming from.
Like you said, you have your license. And I'm like, man, I meet so many other brothers and sisters. They have their insurance license. They say, Andrew, what do you? I'm like, man, I just prayed. I fasted. I meditated. I went to strip clubs. Seriously, I mean, one time somebody invited us out, me and my daughters, because at the time I didn't have a car. So on the weekend, Kiana was at work, and I had to, because Kiana was working 2 jobs. She worked at a logistic company, and she worked at Dollar General. Dollar General. Dollar General. So one of the guys was like, hey, man, they want us to come and speak. But I said, man, I don't care. I took my daughter. They was like 3, 7, and 11. I took them to the strip club. People like, what the world? I had to feed my family. The Bible says a man don't work, he don't eat. I remember being in the roughest part of Chicago, which is Inglewood. I met some clients. They didn't want us to come in their house because I guess I don't know what it was. I ain't asked them. I wrote them on top of the in the alley on the dumpster. And I remember my daughter saying, Daddy, man. So now they like, Daddy, remember when we used to go window shopping? Every time I told her, I get choked up. Like, remember we used to go window shopping, Daddy? Remember we used to go to the Goodwill? Remember we used to go to Dollar Tree and you buy me a Barbie or Angel call me a Dolly? I'm like, man, she's like, man, you kept at it. I remember going down the street because at the time I didn't know what soliciting meant. So I remember going down the street with my daughter and my daughter in one hand. And I actually got I can show you the laptop too. The laptop in the other hand and a monitor in the other hand because my laptop screen broke. So I went to my auntie let me borrow her laptop monitor, which was like a 17-inch monitor.
Yeah.
I got an HDMI cord, plugged it into the computer, plugged it to the monitor, walking down the street, knocking on random doors. So the police came, was like, dude, what is you doing? I said, man, I got to feed my family. Like, we've been eating beans and rice for the last year. And he's like, that's soliciting. I'm like, wow. I didn't have money for leads.
Yeah.
I didn't have money. So people like, man, why don't you? Because we had a client telling me the other day, said, why don't you stop? I'm like, man, I'm living. You know how many souls need to be saved? Like that gentleman he said he had season tickets to the Bulls game. He paid $13,000. How many people you know got season tickets to any sports arena team, but don't have life insurance? Ain't that backwards?
Yeah, it totally is. Priorities, right? We don't understand, man.
See, he said, but Andrew also got a lot of money in the bank. I said, okay, but you know, Illinois and California will tax you on that money when you die, because for one, you don't have a trust and you don't have a will. Look what happened to Michael Jackson when he passed. Look what happened. Look what's still going on with Prince.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a will. And they didn't have a living trust. Or look at Takeoff from Amigos. My wife just told me the other day.
His family
Nobody's playing by the rules, man. They just don't know the rules to the game. Had they known, somebody, you'd think sometimes just because you make a lot of money that you're surrounding yourself with the right people. That's not necessarily the case. No. You can make a lot of money and still not do some of the things that you're supposed to be doing, and you're not thinking about it because money's just coming in because you're doing another show, you're putting out another album, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, and you're damn good at it. You just don't think you're gonna die. Right? You just don't think you're gonna die. Andrew,
go hard for this. So
that's right, man. Dude, we've been talking for 30 minutes already. This thing has flown by. There are souls out there that need your help. If people want to reach out to you right now, they're like, you know what? He's right. I need life insurance. I need to do this. I need to take care of it right now. How do they do that?
They can call us. They can email us. So the phone number is 630-387 1131. We just got a new business number because I don't want to get on my cell phone number anymore.
It's gonna be blowing up.
387 1131. Or they can email us at info@saakinsuranceGroup.com or Andrew@saakinsuranceGroup.com. I mean saakinsuranceGroup.com. Andrew@saakinsuranceGroup.com. info@saakinsuranceGroup.com. Any social media platform with it, SAAK, YouTube, Google, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, everywhere.
Boom. That's it, ladies and gents. Life.
Appreciate it.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
And it's only beautiful because it ends. And you want to make sure that at the end of your lifespan, number one is you want to hopefully on your deathbed not have any regrets. And the one you will have if you're sitting there is if you didn't have life insurance, because there's nothing else you can do at that point, and you're leaving your loved ones behind. So make sure you take care of that life insurance product, even if it's just a simple, at the end of your life, you pay for the plot on the ground and your end of life stuff. It doesn't matter if it's something as simple as that. You can even get insurance, by the way, ladies and gents, with no medical. There's a lot of different coverages out there that can take care of you.
No money down.
No money down. A lot of stuff.
No money down.
First, you just got to reach out. That's right. It's exactly right. So make sure you guys go to the website, saakinsurancegroup.com, saakinsurancegroup.com. You guys can find them on social media, SAAK Insurance. What is that? GP for group?
Yeah, short for group, yep.
That's right. And email address, andrew@saakinsurancegroup.com. Andrew, thank you very much for being on the program. Ladies and gents, get yourself taken care of. Stop waiting. You never know what's going to happen. It can happen on the drive home. You don't know. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. The only moment you got is right now. So make sure you take advantage of it. Peace. And we're out. It's over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast. But not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz to get started today.